Hey 301ers, today we're going to be looking at the effects of a ketogenic diet on exercise metabolism and physical performance of off-road cyclists. Some background information: a ketogenic diet is going to be a diet high in fat and low in carbohydrate and protein. Typically, individuals on this diet will eat foods such as eggs, nuts, avocados, and avoid foods high in carbohydrates such as potato, beans, and rice. Since it's going to be a low-carb diet, an alternative fuel source is going to be provided by ketones. Several studies have indicated low carbohydrate ketogenic diets do not compromise aerobic endurance and strength, but do have underlying side effects such as ketosis, hypoglycemia, and dehydration. The purpose of this experiment was to determine the effects of a long-term ketogenic diet on aerobic performance, exercise metabolism, as well as body mass and composition in off-road cyclists. This leads to our research question: does a ketogenic diet allow subjects to maintain levels of aerobic power and capacity in continuous exercise? Our participants in this study included 8 male subjects around the age of 28 with at least 5 years of experience in off-road cycling. There were 2 distinct phases conducted during a training cycle where high volume of work and moderate intensity dominated daily training loads. Each testing phase lasted 3 days and was preceded by either 4 weeks of the mixed diet or the low carbohydrate ketogenic diet. Looking at the table on the right, we can see that the mixed diet had higher carbohydrate contents, while the ketogenic diet had higher fat contents. Continuing on, a progressive cycloergometer test was administered to determine VO2 max and the level of lactate threshold. Each test began with a workload of 80 watts, which then increased 40 watts every 3 minutes until the individual was exhausted. Body mass and composition were calculated using the electrical impedance method before and after each phase of the experiment. Now, when looking at the results, we can see on figure 1, results showed statistical significance in the free fatty acid concentration between the 2 phases. Looking at the ketogenic diet, we can see a steeper slope noting a faster free fatty acid consumption. We can also look at the p-values. They were pretty significant with a p-value of 0.021 at rest and 0.012 at the 45-minute mark. When looking at the concentration of lactic acid during the exercise, there was also a statistical significant effect of ketogenic diet in the 90-minute mark and also at maximum effort. The concentration of lactic acid was higher in those on the mixed diet, while those on the ketogenic diet had a lower lactic acid concentration in maximal workload where exercise was high. Looking at body mass, we can see that those on the ketogenic diet had a lower body mass compared to the mixed diet individuals of about 2 kilograms, while looking at the fat percentage, we can see that the ketogenic diet also had lower fat percentages. Moving on to VO2 max and VO2 lactate threshold, we can see that the ketogenic diet had higher values compared to those on the mixed diet, but when looking at max workload, the mixed diet had a higher workload capacity, while those on the ketogenic diet had a lower max workload. From these results, we can say that a ketogenic diet promoted fat oxidation during exercising at moderate intensity and at rest. Compared to a mixed diet where most of the energy is coming from carbohydrates, a high-fat diet significantly increased the contribution of free fatty acid to the total energy expenditure during moderate intensity exercise. The ketogenic diet introduced in this research showed favorable changes in body mass and composition, and this is most likely due to the predominance of polyunsaturated fats in this diet. In conclusion, we can say a long-term ketogenic diet may be favorable for aerobic endurance athletes when training at high volumes and low to moderate intensities. Low carbohydrate diets increase fat metabolism during exercise and reduce body mass and decreases post-exercise muscle damage. When applying this to the real world, we can say individuals participating in aerobic endurance sports, such as distance running or rowing, where exercise is low or moderate in intensity, would benefit from a ketogenic diet. Not only will individuals see an increase in VO2 max with a ketogenic diet, they will also lose more body fat and mass at a quicker rate. And this includes looking at the effects of a ketogenic diet.